Hello once again. Welcome back. Mick Cox is talking all things paperbacks, digest books, and as much nonsense as I can waffle on about in 20 odd minutes. And I'm glad you come back to check out more of my books. Thank you very much. I've got a lot of American digest books from the late 40s into the 50s. And I mean a lot. And I've had them for many years, 20 odd years. I've had most of this collection, and I'm just looking for the odd one or two now. And in this little next selection, I need one book that has eluded me for many years to get the full set. So today I'm going to talk about Ecstasy Novels. I talked about Exotic, its sort of twin publication a couple of weeks ago on my video, which I could put the link below. And they sort of run concurrent for a little while. So maybe January was Exotic Novel, and then February would be Ecstasy, so on and so forth. And then towards the end of the publication, they both sort of split and were running monthly publications. Beautiful books, paperbacks, digest size. Some of the early ones are posed by professional models. So there's some photographs within the pages, which are, they're not really, compared to today's standards, they're not saucy at all, or even sleazy really. There's no hard-boiled crime thrillers amongst the Ecstasy set. They really are old romance novels given a new lease of life with some racy artwork on the front. A lot of these particular novels come from the 30s, and they really are just romance novels with a little bit of spice, he touched my thigh and we were both excited. That was about as racy as it got. I've read a couple of them. Awful. But I'm not buying them for the novels. I'm buying them for the superb artwork with on the front. And they are fantastic books. So, today, Ecstasy Novels, all the way from the United States of America. Started in the late 40s, so 1949, right the way through to, I do believe, 1952. Ecstasy Novels. Why not? Why not indeed? Anyway, let's go. Hello, here we go. Ecstasy Novels, all the way from the good old USA. Digest size paperbacks. So just slightly bigger than your average paperback. And a truly wonderful set of books. I just need one. Reno Tramp, which has eluded me, but one day that's all about the thrill of the chase, and hopefully one day I'll get the full set. I've had these particular books for near on 15 years, most of these 15 to 10 years, so it's just that one book. I just keep looking and looking and looking. You never know, one day. Anyway, this is the official sort of number one. A Body to Own by Trudy Hamilton, with the most exceptional artwork. This is from November 1949 by Trudy Hamilton, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is serious artwork of the finest order. Unknown, possibly could be George Gross. Just the way the lady's drawn there. You've got the gangster, maybe the guy that's looking for a good time, I'm not sure, but he looks pretty dodgy, and she seems very happy with herself, and that artwork, I mean, the way that's been painted, she's not wearing any underwear, that's for certain, and the way that he's just drawn the curves, and it's just fantastic. And that is a seriously good book. I've left this one out of its sleeve just to take you through a few things within. All posed by professional models. These early ones did have a lot of photographs of professional models. Nothing really too steamy. It was just kisses and cuddles, and that's what they were. They were just really romance books. There was no real. The one on the front cover's got a lady in stockings and suspenders. That was about as risky as it got. Ecstasy Novel magazine, published bi-monthly by Publishers Productions in New York City. And this is November 1949. You can see why gentlemen of an age, just come out of the war, ex-servicemen or just blue-collar workers in America, why they would, if you walked past a newsstand and you saw that particular book, you would want it. Life was tough after the war, and to see books like this and images like this must have blown men away. Unfortunately, the novels within are not really that racy. They're just a bit romancy with a little bit of titillation, but nothing like today's standards. Very tame. But the artwork, wow, that was risky. For 1949, pre-code, that was risky. Anyway, that's the first one, and a very nice way to start off our Ecstasy set with A Body to Own. Also, I should tell you the back cover for the first 4 or 5 was Astro Books, so there's a continuation with the same publishing company, Shakedown Dame, and you can fill out the coupon at the bottom and they would send you these wonderful books. Yeah, very nice indeed. My copy's in pretty good shape. It's got a bit of a tear along the spine there, but it's holding on in there, and I'm very lucky to have it. Okay, moving on. Fred Roadwald artwork here. Paula Has a Price. I hope it's not too much, because she could be quite a lonely night for her, but she has a price apparently. Just His Touch Could Set Her Blood on Fire. Ecstasy novel by Perry Lindsay. Perry Lindsay was a pseudonym used by Peggy Gaddis, and that wonderful artwork, easily spotted as Fred Claude Roadwald. And there's his little signature down the bottom, in between her legs. No pun intended. Streetwalkers, ladies of the night, is very evident in these early books. They really wanted to get the gentleman to stop and think, oh, that's about ladies that I'll never ever be with, but I need to read about them. And that's mighty fine artwork, with the lady accepting a light from a strange man on a very dark evening, and there's a little garter belt there with a little diamond in there. It's wonderful artwork, and again, books in really nice condition. No spines on all these digests. They're like little mini magazines, but they are absolutely fantastic. And all for the costly price in January 1950, which is when this is from, of 35 cents. What's that nowadays? 22 pence. So even in that day, it was quite an expensive book to buy. Most things were quite cheap, sort of 10 cents for comics, 15, 20 cents for a book, maybe a paperback book. These were quite expensive. Again, this is the novel that was used by Uma Thurman in the poster for Pulp Fiction. This is the book she's holding. If you look at that poster at your own leisure, you'll see she's holding this book. Harlot in Her Heart, by Norman Bly. An exceptional artwork with the blonde lady there being seduced by the handsome gentleman. Norman Bly was a pseudonym used by William Arthur Neubauer, and this is from March 1950. And again, the artwork, it is unknown. I'm not entirely sure who that might be. There's a bit of Hal Dodd about it, but there's not signed. And I'm really not convinced either way, but it's beautiful. Sex was her weapon, apparently. I've got no way of backing that up, but this is a really nice looking book as well, in pretty good shape. Spine's pretty good, and the same adverts on the back, really. But yes, 35 cents again from March 1950. Bing bong boom. That's how you draw proper art. And then, talking of proper art, there's George Gross with his wonderful artwork for A Private Life of a Street Girl. Again, Women of the Night is very popular. trying to romanticise the whole thing of prostitution in New York City, Chicago, wherever they want to set these particular stories, or the art anyway, and the novels within are pretty tame. James Clayford. So we know it's James Clayford, and we know that's also Peggy Cadiz. So this novel was probably, without even looking, probably from the mid-30s. And just romance. That's all it was. This is from May 1950. And you don't get much better artwork than that by George Gross. Sort of cartoony in a way. Jessica Rabbit thing going on. Stockings and suspenders. Legs all the way down from top to bottom. And the gentleman having a smoke. Thinking, geez, can I afford her? I don't know. But I do know that if you couldn't afford a lady like that, and I'm not saying you should, just buy the book for 35 cents, and that's what most fellas did back in the day, and they were very sensible about it, I hope. And then hid it from the wife. On the back, we changed that to a bit of an advert. We've got Exotic Novel, the parent company, by the same publishers. Once there was a version on the back cover there, by Norman Bly. On sale at all good newsstands. Yeah. I'm sure they were. I bet they sold very quickly as well. Anyway, this is the next one in the Ecstasy Novels. Norman Bly. Again, beautiful artwork. I'm not too sure who that is. It's George Gross. Yeah, George Gross down the bottom. Sorry, my apologies. George Gross artwork. Beautiful painted lady there having her neck nibbled. Hopefully he's not a vampire. From July 1950. And just beautiful. The thrill novel of the year. Intimate Confessions of an Artist's Model by Norman Bly. Norman Bly, who was William Arthur Newbow. Really nice looking copy of this. It's got some little marks on the front. Lavishly illustrated with all those wonderful photos posed by professional models. And on the back, we've got another exotic novel advert. 3 Men and a Mistress. My copy's in really good shape, and yeah, beautiful. Okay, not too many to go, but let's enjoy the moment while we're here. Confessions of a Dance Queen. Again, George Gross artwork. Unbelievable artwork. If my breath could be taken away right now, my breath could have gone, because that is, I mean, it is cartoony. There's no way that any lady could step out into the night wearing a dress like that, because you just don't know how that's going to stay up. But it certainly does the job if you're trying to sell books or magazines. This would work. So it's Ecstasy Novel. Very dodgy looking bloke just by the door, the entrance of the door. They're from November 1950. And this is written by Doug Duperrault, which is actually it's Douglas Duperrault. That was actually his real name. Died in 2005. This particular author, and artwork by George Gross. Tell me where you're going to see that sort of artwork painted that beautifully of a blonde girl with loads of diamond rings on her fingers. And she's a dance queen. I would say she's probably earning more than a dime for her dances. But very nice too. Staggering artwork. And on the back, another exotic novel. Thrill Girl. There's a bit of an advert on the back there. On sale at all good newsstands. That book's in pretty good shape. Spine's got a little bit of wear on the spine. I'm very, very happy to own it. Okay, moving on to Virgin or Harlot. We've all asked that question. I've asked that question many times, but they're asking it here with a big question mark. Artwork's not, the artwork's not the best on this one. I'm unsure who it might be. There's no signature down there. She's drawn okay. Got the sexy suspenders and the stockings going on. Again, it's by Peggy Gaddis, under a real name, from January 1951. Ecstasy novel. So we're into 51 now, and it's not bad. It's okay, but not the best. When you're talking about people like George Grosz and Howard Dodd, this one's just a little bit below par. But it's part of the series, and I'm very happy to have it. And on the back, we've got Men Call Her Tramp. Bless her. Okay. I think this one was one of the first ones I bought in the series. So I've had this a long time. Maybe 15, yeah, probably 20 years. I'm not sure. I've had this a long time. Bedtime Angel from March 1951. You have to do a double take on this to realise that's not his hands on her bosom. They're her hands, but the way that it's drawn, it leads you to believe it's him. He's obviously going for the zip at the back of her dress, and she's holding her modesty in place while he undoes her zip. Norman Bly is the author here. From March 1951, William Arthur Newbow was Norman Bly, and again, artwork. There's no signature here. I'd be very confident to go for George Grosz. It is beautiful artwork. I mean, you can talk about the girl looks very well painted, beautiful looking woman there with a sort of platinum blonde, but even the guy looks, it's been painted so well for the time period. He's got the white t-shirt on, the quiff, it's all going on there. From March 1951. Amazing. What a book. Yes, my one's got a bit of a tatty and a bit of a roll on the spine, and there's a nice little posed by professional model photo on the back. She Wanted Love, the best in thrill fiction. Yeah, of course it is. Anyway, on to Never Say No. You probably couldn't to a young redhead lady like that. Written by Luther Gordon. Never Say No. I'm pretty sure that's Hal Dodd. In fact, it is Hal Dodd. Again, haylofts, and there's the farm worker with a bit of straw hanging out of his mouth. My copy is a little bit tatty. I do apologise. I would try and get another copy, but they're so expensive. And I was very lucky to get this back in the day for literally a couple of pounds. Way back when. Yeah, number 10 in the series. So they started to give them numbers now, as they did with the exotic novels. We've gone into numbering system from 1951. This is number 10. Satan Rules the Night was the original novel title, but they've retitled it with Never Say No. And the very buxom redhead with the straw hat, I don't think she'd take no for an answer, to be honest. I don't know her personally. Doesn't look like the sort that would take no for an answer. And on the back, usual stuff. Tapes in the wrong place there on my little plastic sleeve, but she dared to unleash her emotions. Very nice. Okay, only a few to go now. Free and Easy. Luther Gordon. Beautiful bit of art. Blonde lady, again having a cigarette lit by a gentleman. Looks like a hallway in a maybe a boarding house or something. Yeah, or in dare I say a brothel. I don't know. She might be her house. I really don't know. I'm maybe doing her a disservice. Originally written as After Passion, this particular novel, but they've retitled it as Free and Easy. This is number 11 in the Ecstasy series, Ecstasy Novels, from 1951. The artist is unknown. Maybe Howard Dodd. Tricky to know. It's not quite right for me. But anyway, it's a beautifully painted cover. Very seductive looking blonde there. I don't think the fella's got much chance tonight. The way she's grabbing his wrist to say, thank you for the light. I'm not going to let you go. And she's free and easy. I would say she's not free. I think she might be easy, but the free part might be a little bit of a ruse. I think she might be quite expensive, but bless her. Anyway, yeah. Just we've got 5 to go. This copy's. I used to have a really poor copy of Web of Sin, and then I got a slightly less poor copy a few years later, and I've not really moved on from that. It is a little bit tatty. It's got some creases on the front, but it was an improvement on the first one. Trust me, that looked like it'd been run over by a number 37 bus in Wickham High Street. But this one, Web of Sin, originally titled Virgin's Holiday, by Anthony Scott. And Anthony Scott, if anyone knows their novelists, knows that they went on to write as Brett Halliday, but the correct name is Davis Dresser. And he wrote this way back in the 30s. Romancy novel. Artwork is Hal Dodd, without any question. And we've talked about it before. I think he's offering her a cigarette, not trying to burn her. I wish I had a better copy. For some reason, every time I see this copy for sale, they're about the same as mine. I've not really found a really nice one, but I'm still looking. You never know. But it is great. This is number 12 in the series. You can just see it at the top there. It's number 12. Still 35 cents. From 1951. A complete novel of exciting love. And a very, very beautifully drawn woman by Hal Dodd, as he always did. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. Doris. Not exactly a very sexy name for a young lady, but in the 50s, I suppose it was quite a normal name for a young lady. Doris, the Broadway Virgin. Bless her. She ain't that. She's definitely not a virgin. The way she's dressed, anyway. By Elizabeth Dean. They threw these sort of spurious old romance female novelists in there. From 1951. This is number 14. Just down the bottom there. Ecstasy novel. Tantalising, tempting and easy to get. She'll catch her death. Stop smoking as well. But yeah, my copy's okay. It's got a few little creases here and there. It's in it's an okay shape. They're old, they're from the 1951. I'm just lucky, and anyone who's got these books knows we're just lucky to have them in this condition. All's fair in love and war, posed by a professional model. There she is, bless her. Yeah. Doris, Broadway Virgin. Getting towards the end of the set now. Wanton by Night. James Clayford. Artwork's not the best. This is from 1951, number 15 in the set. It's attributed to George Gross. I'm not convinced. Number 15. I'm not convinced. It could be, but it's not his finest work. And that's not the finest looking book in the world, with the creases and the little tears and stuff. But it's in okay shape. Love was her game, but he wouldn't play. Well, he needs to get his finger out, figuratively speaking. Anyway, the female of the species on the back there. A Wanton by Night. Superb. Just 2 to go. They Call Her Easy. They could have come up with a better name for her. Doris would have been. Oh, they've already used Doris. This one's called Easy, bless her. In a nice blue polka dot bikini. The word no wasn't in her vocabulary. By Gwen Lyons. From 1951. Number 16 in the Ecstasy novel series. Guy having a smoke. Looks a bit like John Saxon. But, bit of a beach look. But Looks a bit dark behind her. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I think she's about to undo the bikini at the front. A bit saucy, but nice artwork. But I don't know who it's by. I don't know who that's by. But it's been very well painted. And the graphics are great. And this book, as you can see, that completely annoying crease right down the centre does it no favours. But apart from that, it's in pretty good shape, intact, looking pretty good. And on the back, passionate is the woman, with a girl on her knees. They call her easy. Okay, this is the very last one, written by David Wade. Come night, come desire. Fantastic artwork. David Wade was pseudonym used by Norman A. Daniels, and it's a beautifully painted artwork. Hal Dodd is your artist here again. No signature, but I'm 99% sure it's Hal Dodd. And she's looking very, very classy in her very expensive looking dress with the necklace, with the belt all matching with the sleeve with the hearts on it. Again, she's smoking, and he's about to take his jacket off and have a very nice night watching Coronation Street, no doubt. Number 17 in the series, the very last one in the Ecstasy novel series. And then, obviously, after that, we've gone on to things like Falcon and Rainbow books by the same publishing company. So, Under the Spell of Love, what happens to Virtue's vows? I would say they've already gone. As he's entered the door, any vows that he made have gone. But that is beautiful artwork by Hal Dodd, and worth every penny or cent of 35. And that's the whole lot. I'm missing one, and you never know, one day I might find it. But I don't lose any sleep over it, because that's what you shouldn't do as a book collector or a record collector or whatever you collect. Never lose sleep, because one day it will arrive. And hopefully it will for me. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my little Ecstasy novel video. Be more very, very soon along the same lines. Might go back to the UK for some other collections. But for now, thanks very much for watching. Leave a comment, leave a like, share it as much as you can. And I do appreciate it. Thanks very much. And hopefully I'll see you all again very soon.